This is overhead mobility follow-along B. We will need a foam roller, 1 to 2 light kettlebells, and a pull-up bar. The first exercise is dive dog with head turns. This movement is great for warming up the shoulders. We will alternate between downward facing dog and upward facing dog. While in the upward facing dog, push your shoulders down and turn your head side to side 2 to 3 times. When in the downward facing dog, push your head down between your elbows as far as you can. Squeeze your glutes while in the upward dog to protect your lower back. Our next movement is lat rollout on foam roller. Lie sideways on the foam roller with your hand behind your neck. Roll up and down just under your armpit. Roll for 5 to 10 reps on each side. You might feel discomfort, but this movement should not be painful. The reason why many people struggle to achieve an easy overhead lockout is tightness and weakness in the lats. In this mobility sequence, we will lengthen and strengthen the lats to improve shoulder mobility and stability. Here I am changing sides and completing 5 to 10 rolls on the other side. For our next movement, we will need a pull-up bar. Exercise number 3. Passive hang in hollow body. Jump up to hang on the pull-up bar. Your shoulders can be relaxed and around your ears. Contract your abdominals and curl your pelvis under so that your hip bones are pulled closer to your bottom ribs. This is the correct position. An arched back hang is not appropriate for this practice. When done correctly, you will feel a stretch in your chest muscles. We are doing this stretch for less than 30 seconds because we will be loading the lats afterwards. And we're jumping off. Our next movement is on the mat with a kettlebell. We will be performing a kettlebell pullover with a hollow body. Your lower back should be pressed into the ground. The elbows are soft and not bending. Lower the arms as low as you can while maintaining those 2 technique standards. This movement can be made more challenging by using 2 kettlebells and by straightening the legs. Your head can be on the ground or slightly off the ground. The lower back is pressed into the ground throughout the movement. To make the movement more difficult, lower the legs down towards the ground. This movement should be done with control. Tension in the lats should be maintained throughout. Avoid overflexing your shoulders beyond your capacity. This can lead to shoulder injury. After completing 8 to 12 reps, we move on to the next exercise. The IYT raise complex can be performed with empty hands if you're a novice, or light weights. I am using cans of magnesium pills. First, lying flat with your forehead on the ground, perform 10 raises with your arms shoulder width or slightly wider apart. Try to keep your elbows straight and your thumbs pointing up. Next, spread your arms out to 45-degree angles from the torso and perform 10 reps of Y raise. Keep your neck long and your elbows straight. Finally, perform 10 reps of T raise with the arms out at 90 degrees to the torso. These might feel like the easiest lift, So if you're using empty hands on all the others, for these ones you can use some weights. After completing these last 10 reps, we will rest for 20 seconds. A good overhead lockout requires back strength to pull the arms back into vertical. That is why we're strengthening our back, rear shoulder and rotator cuff muscles. The final exercise in this complex is reverse snow angels. Keep your forehead on the ground, raise your arms off the ground and move them from overhead to next to your torso 10 times. Move slowly and with control. Avoid bending your elbows. Try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. If you are unfamiliar with this complex, definitely begin it with empty hands. Only progress to weights once you are familiar with the exercises and are finding them easy. Next, we will perform another round of kettlebell pullover in a hollow body. We will perform 10 reps of this exercise. Remember to keep your lower back flat on the ground and your elbows soft. Move with control, keep your lats engaged throughout and avoid jerking movements. Use 1 or 2 kettlebells and position your legs in such a way as to challenge your abdominals, but not to allow your lower back to separate from the ground. Our final exercise is overhead lockout practice with a kettlebell. We will perform tall sit to V-sit. Begin just like you would in a Turkish get-up by locking out the kettlebell over your shoulder. Pack your shoulder into the socket. Externally rotate your arm so that the kettlebell is hanging to the outside rather than over your face, and keep your wrist straight. Here it is more important to be in a lockout rather than to be in an overhead lockout. This means that if you must, you should lean backwards in order to maintain a straight elbow, straight wrist, packed shoulder, and externally rotated arm so that the kettlebell is not hanging over your head. Try to breathe with your belly rather than with your chest, as breathing with your chest will tense your shoulders. And we're returning down, dismounting the kettlebell and changing to the other side. If your hamstring flexibility makes it difficult to sit upright, you can bend your knees. If you have